Breakdown. Nissan makes cars that thrill. Experience the thrill yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. Back here at Wrigley, Cubs and Cardinals coming up. And Joe Girardi, the focus is on Jack Flaherty, a guy back in 2019 was one of the top starters in the game, and it's been a little bumpy and unhealthy.
Well, with the Cardinals winning 2-0 at the top of the second, Taylor Ward singles on a 2-2 count, 2 strikes. The next hitter, Matt Thaiss, another single, a four-seamer on an 0-2 count. And then Luis Rengifo homer on a knuckle curveball on a 2-2 count. The 2-2 counts and the 2-strike counts have been really tough for Jack Flaherty this year. Early in the year, it was the walks. Now it's that. And you look at the Cardinals as a whole, where they rank 30th in batting average. I mean, the major league average is 171 with 2 strikes, and that's not good. And they've given up 21 home runs. Only the White Sox have given up more. And you look at his quote from last week after that game. He said 2-strike hits. Whatever that comes down to, too many 2-strike hits today. Too many balls hit hard. That's frustrating. Our whole staff throwing pitches that don't make sense. Well, that probably led to what is going on with Willie Contreras, and now he's warming up. So he's got something to say about it tonight. Let's see what he does.
Flaherty and Taillon, the pitching matchup as we get ready for baseball. Lineups and first pitch from Wrigley Field coming up. Through it all, buy Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer today. And buy Menards. Save big money at Menards. Hey, welcome back. And here in Chicago, it's turned into a really nice night. We get set for the Cardinals and the Cubs, and let's check out the Cardinals lineup. It's brought to you by UI Health. Cardinals 7th in the National League in runs per game. Nootbaar, Goldschmidt, and Gorman the top 3. Arenado's off to a slow start. Contreras hits 5th at DH. Donovan, DeYoung, Carlson, and Kisner, the rest of the lineup.
Starting pitcher for the Cubs is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. It's the big right-hander Jameson Taillon, who gives you a lot of different looks. Fastball at 94. Throws a lot of cutters. Curveball, slider, and changeup, all part of his repertoire. He's 0-2 with a 5.29 ERA, but he's only thrown 17 innings so far this year.
Repertoire's changed a tiny bit, right? He's leaned on that cutter a little bit more and added that sweeper.
And I think his four-seam is really important for him, because his cutter has been a pitch that he has not had a lot of success off of this year. A lot more success last year, but he's made mistakes with it. His four-seam has been good.
Bellinger on the move to his left and holds it in.
Cubs defensively is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. And we go Happ, Bellinger, Suzuki left, center, right. Different look on the infield with Nico down, hopefully for just a couple of days. But it's Madrigal, Swanson, Morel, and Mervis. Third to first, Miguel Amaya behind the plate.
First one misses to Paul Goldschmidt, National League MVP last year. He's been an All-Star 7 times. 35 years old.
These guys went to the same high school. Not at the same time. Goldschmidt a little bit before Taillon, or the Woodlands High School down there in the Houston area.
Oh, that was coming right back into our living room.
Were you ready for it?
Not really.
Here's a fun fact for you. Last year, Paul Goldschmidt won the MVP, becoming the 5th player to win their first career MVP at age 35 or older. Eckersley, Stargell, Sauer, and the great Spud Chandler on that list.
Does Mitch have the Spud Chandler video?
I'd go for at least a headshot.
It's really even funnier that Mitch is on a cruise right now. That Mitch doesn't have it. Goldschmidt doesn't get that one, and Taillon with the strikeout, 2 away. And how about our keys to the game? They're brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Yeah, the hope here for Taillon tonight is to get to 65 pitches. They'll keep a close watch on that, depending on how stressful his innings are. Young guns, that bottom third of the Cubs lineup, full of youngsters. And how about some extra bases? Cubs have not done much slugging here over the last week or so. There's 18 runs total in their last 7 ball games.
Gorman here. Gorman already with 7 homers on the years. Gets the start at second base. DeYoung is the shortstop. No Tommy Edman today. How do you not start the guy on his birthday?
You know, I think I told the story about Matsui, right? Matsui, Hideki Matsui, was with the Yankees. It seemed like every year it was his birthday, he'd hit a home run. So when we'd have a big game, we'd always ace your birthday, you know? Yeah, I mean, it seems like players always have a lot of success off of on their birthdays, so I'm surprised he's not in.
In the air, out towards left center field. This is pretty well struck. That one back, and that's gone. Gorman with his 8th. Yep, that is his signature. He's got big-time power. JD, we saw it last year in St. Louis. Power to that part of the park.
Yeah, he'd be a really good fit here at Wrigley Field, wouldn't he? With 368 to the power alley, the ability just to kind of stay on this fastball and ride it to the left center gap. Yeah, he's a very impressive young hitter. Makes a lot of hard contact.
So Gorman with the home run of the Cardinals out front. Here's Arenado. Taillon deals.
It's a very capable Cardinal lineup. Their issues have been pitching, starting pitching in particular. But you know, once Arenado gets going, and you know that's going to come sooner or later. Gorman and Goldschmidt, Contreras, they got a lot of thump.
It hit the ball on the ground a ton, at least for him. His ground ball rate is 43.5%. That is a career high. But striking out. But with all those balls on the ground, it's no surprise that the slugging percentage is .326.
You know, it's interesting because he started off really well. He started off the first 12 games at 300, and the Cardinals were 5-7. But since he's really struggled, they have struggled, and he's so important to it. This is a guy that drives in 100 every year.
Arenado down on strikes, and Taillon punches out a couple, but Gorman gets him, puts one into the bleachers in left center. The Cubs will come up to hit down a run. Megalodon camera powered by Nissan, and Nissan makes cars the thrill. Experience the thrill yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. David Ross plugging Nick Madrigal into the leadoff spot. But interestingly enough, he stays at third. Morel plays second. Jack Flaherty delivers. And the first pitch is in there for a strike.
Let's take a look at Jack, shall we? Brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. He, like Taillon, a lot of different looks. Fastball, slider, curve, cutter, change. 2-4 is 6.29 ERA. Fastball command has been an issue for Flaherty. First couple of starts, a ton of walks. And last time out, he really got hit around. 9 hits, a career high. 10 runs allowed, a career high. That was against the Angels. But one right, he can be awfully good, as Cub fans know.
One of the things he did against the Angels is he fell in love with his cutter. He threw it like 40% of the time, and that's more than normal for him. It's usually in the 10 to 20 range, and Kisner's a guy that in his 2 starts with him, he has not used it nearly as much, and he got hurt on his cutter. I mean, they hit it, the Angels put it in play, and they did some damage on it. So I would think you would see more 4-seamers than that cut fastball.
The walk issue goes back for Flaherty too. You started the beginning of last year, minimum 70 innings, 277 qualified pitchers. There are 3 guys with a higher walk rate, and this season he's 3rd in the National League. That one softly hit, and it finds space out left center. Nick Madrigal with a knock. So he takes over where Nico Horner left off. Nico out tonight with a hamstring injury.
Well, hey, guess what? A 2-strike hit. I mean, they're back at it again, and he really misses his spot. I mean, that's been the thing with Jack Flaherty. He's gotten ahead of hitters a lot of times, but he can't seem to put them away, and he makes a mistake. He's trying to go probably up and away, and he ends up and in, and Nick pulls his hands in and ends up on first base. So Cubs, who have had problems scoring runs, maybe you'll see some action here quickly out of Nick Madrigal at first base.
Ball outside to Dansby Swanson. Dansby has cooled a bit after his torrid start. Still, the average excellent at 273. The on base better than that at 385. He's hit 200 in his last 20. Drilled towards that right field corner. That one slicing, and it's a fair ball. Madrigal racing for third. Willie Harris going to send him. Here's Nick to the plate. Swanson into second, RBI double, and the Cubs get the run right back. 1-1.
Well, there's a little slug for you. Last night it was Dansby going down the left field line for an RBI double. This time he shoots one into the right field corner. Double. You know what that means? It's brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new car. Right, get yourself a new car and nickname it Dansby. Madrigal in the role of leadoff man, gets on and scores run number 1 for the Cubs.
Probably a good idea that Nico wasn't in there. You know, you think about having to score from first on a double right away. Nico with the left hamstring issue.
The left hamstring tightness he left with last night. Hope is there'll be no IL stint as Happ takes off the inside edge.
First day off of the year.
Yep. Yeah, he has started at second and led off every game. That's in there for a strike.
You can go up in the clubhouse and just have him, get Edmund to go into the Cardinal clubhouse, and they can get on the phone and chat. Former mates. Stanford. You know, what are you doing? Happy birthday, man.
Think Nico got him a present?
I don't know. Buy him dinner or something?
Nico's birthday's Saturday. So maybe there's an exchange of gifts? I don't know.
Exchange some Nike shoes?
Something like that.
Yeah.
JD's got some shoes he's working.
Today?
Yeah.
Styling? Wow.
Taylor McGregor designed.
Yeah, they are. 3-1 to Happ. Outside ball 4. Speaking of T-Dog, let's go downstairs, and here she is.
Well, I want to get in on the Nico conversation. A lot of information, a lot of Cub fans I know wanted to get the update. So as you mentioned, very mild hamstring strain. So that was really good news today from David Ross. And he even went on to say he was going to go through treatment and work today, and he could foresee a world where, depending upon the way he checked out and said treatment, he could play tonight. Now, we did not get clarification whether or not he was going to potentially be able to come off the bench tonight, but I can tell you he has his spikes on here in the dugout. So it seems like it is a very mild hamstring strain indeed.
That's good information right there. He's got his spikes on.
Can you say gamer? I mean, he's a gamer. I mean, I would be shocked if they used him today.
Yeah, totally. But that he's got his spikes on is telling you what's in his head, right?
Yeah. If they need me to pinch hit, you know, and you just got to play under control when you're in these type of situations.
First one to Belly, and he waves at that one.
He was looking to ambush there, wasn't he? Thought he was going to get a first pitch heater.
Wishes that one foul. I talked with Cody pregame and just about what's different. I said, what's different in your setup? And he said a lot. And then he paused and he said, well, it certainly feels different. And I said, what feels different? He said, I feel a lot stronger, a lot more rooted to the ground. And then one of the things that he told me was that when he won the Rookie of the Year in 17 and the MVP in 19, he told me he weighed around 195, maybe a shade under. He's playing at 210 this year.
Yeah,
he went in the offseason, got stronger intentionally, and he said just the lower half, and of course that shoulder too. Feels stronger, and he's bigger.
Well, I think
the ball in the dirt didn't go.
I think it's important just because he plays every day, right? In the rigors of playing every day and playing center field and running around, he has to keep his strength and has to keep his weight so he doesn't wear down. And it's definitely shown up. I mean, he hit 7 home runs in the month of April.
Flaherty ready. 2-2, grounded to first. Goldschmidt to Flaherty. And Bellinger retired as the runners advance. Let's take a check of the Cubs lineup. And that's brought to you by Binny's Beverage Depot. If you can't find it at Binny's, it's probably not worth drinking. The Cubs 4th in the league in runs per game, 2nd in on base. Madrigal, Swanson, Happ, Bellinger, Suzuki, Hosmer, Mervis, Morel, and Amaya. So you got that youngster patch down the bottom 3rd as Seiya gets a chance to hit here.
It's been a tough go for Seiya here too lately. And we've seen a lot of that. Swing and a miss at that strike the ball slider. Last 51 at bats, he's hitting 216, 245 on base, and a 294 slug. So not taking his walks, not hitting for average, and not slugging here of late.
Well, Boog, I was talking to you about oblique injuries the other day, right?
Yeah, you said something interesting in terms of how long it's going to take.
Well, I think you have to give him another month of playing before I think an oblique injury is really right. They come back, but I still think there's somewhat of a weakness and rustiness, and he really didn't have a spring training like everybody else.
Just scratched the first spring training game. So the first spring training game.
I mean, in a sense, he's just getting out of spring training now. So I think you're going to start to see him heat up here pretty soon, and he's going to feel really comfortable.
The other thing you said besides hesitancy, but like there's some fear almost in terms of that it's going to happen again.
Yes, right.
I mean, I don't know that specific to him, but your experience is that does happen.
They don't feel like they had the freedom before the injury, and it takes time to get over that.
Takes his walk here, and the base is loaded, and a great opportunity for Eric Hosmer.
Kind of looks familiar here. Flaherty in recent starts here at Wrigley Field has really struggled. A number of short starts career-wise in this ballpark. He has a 5.76 ERA. He had 13 walks total in his first 2 starts, and then he was able to clean it up a little bit. Command continues to be an issue.
On the ground to the right side, they get one there, and they turn it at a 4.63 inning ender. Cubs get the equalizer onto the second, tied at 1.
We got a tie ball game in the top of the second. Wilson Contreras stepping into the batter's box, getting a little bit of cheers, but it sounds like mainly boos. And that was how last night went. The initial ovation was all cheers, and then eventually after that it led to boos. And we saw him on first base embrace the boos. This is him on first base, and then later standing on second doing the exact same thing. I did catch up with him post game, and he said, listen, I actually loved the boos. He said, when you get booed, that means you're doing something right. And then I asked him about that hand motion he was doing, and he said that just happened organically. And he said he feels like his teammates responded really well to it, so it was something he plans on continuing to do. Guys.
Top rope T-Mac knows all about it. She knows what it's like.
Yeah.
Getting the crowd riled up.
He wouldn't be the first ball player to embrace the boos.
No.
B-O-O-Z-E.
Was it Reggie that said they don't boo nobodies?
Yeah. Reggie Jackson.
Swing and a miss. Tyone strikes him out.
Really good breaking ball from Jamison here. You see that slider, curveball, that slurve that you like. You know, it's kind of the sweeper, all those.
He has a lot of different looks moving in that direction. Right?
Yeah,
Sweeping slider, a little tighter one, cutter, more over the top curveball.
But the big thing is it started as a strike, right, and then just got off, the edge of the zone, which caused Contreras to chase it. If you leave it in the zone, Contreras has a good chance of hitting it, and hitting it pretty hard.
Deal 1. Brendan Donovan, super utility guy. You could plug him in multiple spots. Takes up and in. Look out.
Here's the cutter. He made a big play throwing out Nick Madrigal at the plate last night. Potential sac fly.
That utility guy, or that guy that can play all over the diamond, gives you so much freedom as a manager, because you can pinch hit or pinch run for almost anyone in their lineup, because he's played every position in the infield. He's played left field, so that tells you he can play right field.
On the ground, Madrigal gathers it in on the grass and throws him out. This Cup game available in Spanish. It's brought to you by Toyota on your SAP audio setting, provided by TuneIn, Univision Sports Chicago, 1200 AM. Folks still filing in. Still some sunlight as Paul DeYoung stands in against Tyone and swings and misses at the slider.
It's been an interesting player, right? 2017. Second in Rookie of the Year. Cody Bellinger won it. He's changed his approach. The last 3 years, he's really struggled. He had a higher leg kick. He now gets his foot down really early. He got hurt in spring training and had to go on a rehab, and he's been productive ever since he got back.
Does a solid job defensively.
You could see him claiming a lot more playing time at shortstop if he's able to keep this up. Get back to his all-star form of 2019.
Yeah, he's got power.
He had 30 home runs one year, 25 another. I mean, 2017 he had 25 home runs as a rookie. Swing and miss has been a problem, but he's worked on trying to cut down that leg kick and put the ball in play.
2-2. And he takes that one the other way and threw for a base hit. So a 2-out knock for the Cardinals shortstop. And a kid who grew up in Antioch, Illinois. JD, where exactly?
It's about 53 miles from Wrigley Field, up on the Wisconsin border.
How far was it yesterday?
About an hour and 7 minutes drive, depending on traffic.
Okay.
How far was it yesterday?
It was further yesterday. Got a little shorter. And then he went to school at Illinois State.
Yes, he did.
Aren't they the Redbirds?
They are the Redbirds.
How about that? It was meant to be.
Foul. The thing that's amazing is he went to Illinois State, did Paul DeYoung, and I believe he played shortstop 2 games in college. He mainly caught. And it wasn't until he got some time in the fall league where he really took to shortstop.
You know what that tells you, Boo? Catchers are athletes, right?
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Biggio went to second base, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Contreras has played left or third.
You played with Bidge, JD. He caught you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Pitch to Carlson.
He could play center field too. Just a ball player, real good athlete.
What a smart guy, right? I mean, to change positions, lengthen.
Well, yeah,
career,
you know,
yeah.
and it was, you know, I don't know that he was willing to do it initially. I think they kind of said this is what's going to happen, and he ultimately embraced it.
Because the bat played, the speed played.
Yeah, and you're afraid of catching the legs would, you know, the speed would go away. And he didn't throw very well. You know, he's very athletic back there. He blocked balls and make plays on bunts and things like that. But my recollection was they would run on him a lot. Back when, you know, base stealing
was that when you were
thing.
Did that have anything to do with you, them running on him?
Well, it's had to do with me throwing over to first base like 387 times one year. Trying to help out a teammate, you know.
Yeah.
DeYoung at first, 2 down. Tied at 1. We're in the second. Outside corner, got him. Tyone with 4 strikeouts. And the Cardinals leave a man. We're midway in inning number 2, 1-1. Police Road Home has served thousands of veterans, active duty service members, and families across the U.S. If you are a loved one or in need of treatment, please reach out for health care and wellness services. Learn more about Russia's life-changing services at roadhomeprogram.org. And thanks to United States Navy Lieutenant Joe Brochu. Thank you for your service. Thanks for being a Cub fan. And thanks to all of you for honoring him between innings.
Boop.
Yes, sir.
Let the kids play. Here we go.
Bottom third of the order. This is great. It'll be Mervis, Morel, and Amaya. 3 guys that started at AAA, and AA respectively this year.
Well, lefties have been particularly problematic for Jack Flaherty this year. They're batting with .364 against him. Career-wise, just .222. If Mervis can do some damage here on a 2-0 pitch.
It's in for a strike. 4-seamer at 91. Yeah, the lefties have done the damage. Mervis not able to connect with that one, and now it's 2-2.
Flaherty's only 27 years old. He's been in the league better than 5 years now. Came up at a very young age.
Softly on the ground, Arenado fields, flips over to first, and Mervis retired.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals defensively. It's brought to you by Ford. This club last year was really good. So far, just so-so this year. Donovan, the utility guy, is in left. He was the Gold Glove winner. Carlson can really go get him big arm in center. Same thing with Newpart in right. You know all about Arenado. He wins the Gold Glove every year. The Young and Gorman up the middle. Goldschmidt, a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner. And Kisner behind the plate. They've cornered the market on Nolans.
We talked about their defense last year up the middle. They were +21 in defensive runs saved when you look at the second baseman and the shortstop. This year, they're -7. And that's a big difference. And that really affects your pitching staff.
Yeah, I think a lot, or at least some of what we're classifying as pitching for the Cardinals that it's been a problem would go into the category of defense, or at least run prevention. They're just not defending the same way. And here's an example. One of the things they've done really well the last couple of years is take ground balls, turn them into outs. Go to the bottom first. Percentage of ground balls turned into outs. They were second best in the bigs last year. They're middle of the pack now. Defensive efficiency, they're next to last this year. Flaherty strikes out Morel. And there's 2 away.
So my question there would be, how much of it was because of the shift was in play and your positioning and maybe not having great range all over the diamond? Now all of a sudden, you know, you put in Nolan Gorman, right, who does not have great range, has played a number of games at second base. It really changes, and Edmonds has had some struggles at shortstop with some of his throws.
So the thing I would say back to you is, and I'm looking it up right now, but off the top of my head, I don't believe that the Cardinals were a high shift team. I think that they were a team that shifted very infrequently relative to the rest of the league. So even when they did, let's see, last year they were 20th, so they used it some.
Yeah, I think they started shifting more. They were one of the last teams to really do it a lot.
Yep. Third, Arenado. And Amaya is retired. Flaherty gets a 1-2-3. We're at the end of 2, 1-1.
Illinois can purchase Cubs Charities 50-50 raffle tickets starting at 11 a.m. through the end of each game. at Cubs.com/raffle or from a raffle ambassador at Wrigley Field through the 8th inning.
Kisner grounds one foul. Banged off the screen and then through the legs of the third base coach, Pop Warner.
No surprise to see him go after that first pitch. He does it better than 50% of the time.
First pitch fastball, he is all over it. And that ball was what, 3 inches in off the plate? I don't think he likes breaky.
Gonna go early.
I can relate. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You understand who you are as a hitter, right? And
you like brecky. You don't like breaky.
Breaky.
Right?
I like that big
breaky heart.
Magical handles the chance, and Kisner retired, one away.
Cub fans, go to MarqueeSportsNetwork.com for the latest Cubs news and in-depth feature stories presented by Jeff Vukovich, your local Nationwide insurance agent. Visit JeffVuk.com nationwide. He's on your side.
Tyone's given up the 1-run homer to Nolan Gorman. Lars Nootbaar now.
Coming into today, the 14 games they put him in the leadoff spot, he's hit .333. I mean, with a homer and 6 RBIs, 10 base on balls, a .438 on base percentage. I know in today's world.
That's hammered right field, and forget it, into the bleachers and gone. Nootbaar, his third, and the Cardinals have retaken the lead. A high majestic homer deep into the right center field bleachers.
What do we got here, JD? It looks like a little cutter, right?
Yeah, and he was able to kind of clear the front hip. And yeah, he's been hurt on that cutter.
A lot.
Over 430 feet. And Goldschmidt now a strikeout victim his first time.
You know, coming into this game, Tyone had pitched 17 innings this year. He had allowed just 1 home run, 4 walks, and 20 strikeouts. So when you look at all those numbers, that's, you know, far better than that 5.29 ERA he brought in. I mean, if he were to continue to pitch like that, keep the walks down, keep the ball in the ballpark, you would see that ERA go down. Now, you know, 2 long balls here tonight has changed the math a little bit. But he's always been a guy who's thrown a lot of strikes.
Swanson chasing and can't come up with it. And a little flare out in to center field, and center fielder.
I mean, that's some kind of effort. I mean, he really gets in on Goldie, and you see the bat. I mean, he shatters the bat. And the strength of Goldie allows him to hit it just out of the reach of Dansby Swanson. What an effort, right? If he makes that play, that's the best play he's made all year, and he's made a lot of them up until this point.
And he made a couple of really nice plays last night. That would have been spectacular.
JD, you were talking about the ERA, and you look at Jameson Taillon, the batting average on balls in play into tonight. BABIP, you know, 347. Some people like to say BABIP.
Well, if you want to get into the weeds too, the other one, the left on base percentage,
right,
average is typically 70%. His is like 53%.
Right.
So,
So
the
the
hits
guys
have
have
come
come
in
in
bunches, and normally that's going to normalize over time.
Yep. Runner takes off. Pitch is fouled off at the plate. Paul Goldschmidt, you know, at 35, he doesn't run the way he once did. But, I mean, in 2016, he had 32 stolen bases and hit 24 homers.
He has the longest active streak of successful stolen base attempts. 27 out of his last 27.
You know who he reminds me a little bit when it comes to running the bases and first baseman, and not necessarily the fastest runner?
Jeff Bagwell?
Albert Pujols.
Oh.
Very smart base runner, right? steal at the right time, could steal third base. Goldschmidt can steal third base if you don't pay attention to him.
Except for those times when Albert thought he was invisible.
Well,
Yeah.
Every now and then he'd try that little sneak attack like second base.
It ended badly. Is Goldie Hall of Famer?
I don't know if he's going to amass the numbers, right? I mean, he's really. I mean, he's got 5 Silver Sluggers, more than any first baseman ever in the game of baseball. I just don't know if he's going to quite get there. Your thoughts?
He's got 322 career homers. His career slash line is 296, 391, 527. I mean, I think he'd have to continue to be pretty productive the next couple years. I don't think there are totals he needs to get to. I think he's got to be in the top 3 in the MVP again the next couple years. JD, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's trending that way, but I don't think he's there yet, right? I mean, you have that conversation about star players. If their career were to end today, ... would he be a Hall of Famer? I don't think that is the case right now, but the fact that he's performing at such a high level, 35 years old, leads me to believe that there are a couple more really good years in there for him.
I think for a lot of guys like Hall of Famers, and I'm not sure of the numbers, but Goldie's first full year, he was 24 years old, right? It seems like a lot of those guys that really amass the numbers their first full years, like when they're 22, 21.
Yeah.
Right? So he's a little late to the party. He's a great player. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Well, the Scott Rowland model comes to mind, right?
Up the middle, swats it to his left, and Morrell not able to corral the throw. Mervis retrieves, and with 2 outs, to score that a base hit.
A bloop single, and now this ground ball. Heck of an effort by Swanson. He was going to be safe there at second base anyway. No harm done as the ball gets away from Morrell. Spectacular try.
Swanson wants to join the conversation with Tommy Hotovy, and let's not forget, for Tyone with 2 outs in the 3rd, he's at 54 pitches. Not many more than 10 left in the tank.
If he was able to get out of this inning, they have to make a decision. Do you send him out next inning, or do you just make the change and say that's it? I mean, his innings have not been necessarily easy. Nobody's warming up yet. But I would think if another base runner gets on, you're going to have to get somebody up, and I would think it would be a Assad.
All quiet in the Cub pen. The first one, a cutter that misses down away to Wilson Contreras. Contreras struck out his first time.
This year's been very good with runners in scoring position, hitting .355.
Remember, the Cardinals signed Contreras in December, but they had a lot of interest in Sean Murphy, who ultimately ended up with the Braves. It was reported that they balked at the price tag on Murphy, whether it was going to be Donovan or Gorman or Nootbaar or some combination. Murphy is off to an all-world start for the Braves this year. Two on, 2 out, 2-1. Cardinals lead it as Contreras fouls one back. Julian Merriweather getting loose. Jerry to his buddies down in the pen.
And who was Tom?
Tom is Jeremiah Estrada.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Makes sense.
Beat him with a slider last time.
95 with that heater. Tyone, guy who's been through a lot. 30 years old. This year, a stint on the IL. He's had Tommy John surgery twice. 3-2. Here comes. And they'll do it again as well. 2017 battled testicular cancer. Guy was originally drafted second overall pick by the Pirates in 2010. Right between Harper and Machado. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Contreras will take his base, and now they'll be loaded for Donovan.
Well, you talked about it. Base runners coming in bunches. The innings that he has struggled, it's been some big innings, right? So homer, a single, and a walk, and it leaves the bases loaded. And David Ross probably thinking this will be his last hitter.
First one to Donovan, and that one finds the mark.
Yeah, the ability to land that 0-0 curveball, right? That opens up a world of possibilities for him. Donovan, a tough guy to punch out. Doesn't swing and miss very much.
Last year demonstrated a really good idea of the strike zone. Has not been quite as patient to begin this season. Cardinals leading 2-1. And that's in there for a strike, and now it's 1-2. Goldschmidt, the runner at third, Arenado at second, Contreras is at first. 1-2 on the left fielder Brendan Donovan. Tyone deals too high.
So might be tempted. I'm sorry, Joe. I might be tempted to shorten up in the outfield a little bit on the opposite side and in center. Just, this is a guy with 2 strikes is willing to choke up and just try to make a little contact to put it in play. I'd hate for a little blooper to drop in and play a couple runs.
2-2. Check swing and a ball in the dirt. Did not go. That's Jordan Baker down there.
Pretty good curveball here. He's able to lay off. I mean, you talked about his discipline at the plate. Nice block by Miguel. He's done a really good job back there defensively. I've been impressed. And it's not easy being a young catcher in the big leagues, catching veteran pitchers that expect you to know exactly what you're doing. He's done a really good job.
They'll do it again. See what Tyone goes with here. The pitch. Donovan spoils another.
It's kind of, we talk a lot about pitcher wins not being all that important, and they certainly aren't when you necessarily are projecting what a pitcher's doing for your ball club. It's all about just preventing runs. Having said that, starting pitchers like to get wins.
Yes.
And he's been in a tough position his last 2 starts, knowing there's no way last time out and highly unlikely tonight he would go 5 innings to qualify for a win. Right now, he's got bigger things on his plate, just trying to get out of this mess.
Off the inside edge, and he's walked in a run. I mean, just missed. Goldschmidt touches.
Well, this is a heck of a plate appearance here by Donovan, and this was a pretty good breaking pitch on 3-2, and he was able to lay off.
Yeah, that good disciplined approach. David Ross takes the baseball from Jameson Tyone. Pitching changes brought to you by Lakeside Bank. It's about time.
So the Cardinals here tonight, we'll take a look at it. That's Gorman in red and Nootbaar in blue. And see the exit velocities, and boy, a long one by Lars Nootbaar, 431 feet. Well, Lars has got some pop.
There's Paul DeYoung now. DeYoung is single the opposite way his first time. Base is still loaded. And Merriweather on here.
And pitching his way into David Ross' circle of trust. An ugly one early on in the season, but he's been really good here of late. 13 2/3 innings total, a 5.93 ERA, but he's got a 1.13 over his last 8 outings.
See that walk rate only 5%. I mean, that's a huge improvement for him. He had a great inning last night where he threw 17 pitches and he had 2 strikeouts and no hits. Pitched on Sunday, so third day in a row. You'd expect only for him to maybe get 1 out today. I'll tell you what, his fastball's been pretty good, JD.
Yeah,
too. It's been 97, 98.
Real good changeup. He likes to work against the left-handed hitters.
Featured a really good breaking ball last night, a pretty hard curveball.
Whoop.
Missed by a lot.
The thing, though, that he hasn't been used in a lot is high leverage situations. And this is about as high as you can get right here. But this is how you earn your way to bigger and better innings, by getting out of jams like this.
3-1, no place to put DeYoung. And he walks him. Another run comes in. Cubs had not issued a bases loaded walk all year, and now have done so back to back.
Yeah, that's been a big part of their pitching success this year, just overall limiting walks.
Big swing from Dylan Carlson. Dylan Carlson, a former first-round pick by these Cardinals back in 2016. Played his high school ball in Northern California, Elk Grove, for his dad.
Ooh, nice block.
Really nice block.
This is the changeup.
I always felt the changeup was probably one of the hardest pitches to block. He does a really good job centering in his body and not trying to catch it, right? He just allowed his chest protector to do the work.
Contreras at third, Donovan at second, DeYoung at first. Ball and a strike. Mervis knocks it down. He'll take it himself and beats Carlson to the bag. The Cardinals, though, take a 4-1 lead.
Back right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Download the FanDuel app now to check out their live betting options and start making every moment more.
Here's Nick Madrigal now. Madrigal, the leadoff man, and takes inside, and that pitch from Flaherty spins him out of the way.
Looks like it was a backup cutter. It's been a while since he's been on the mound. He's probably a little bit stiff. You can see the rotation on the mound. It's just a backup cutter. JD, did you ever add a pitch in the middle of your career?
No, I might have tinkered with grip from time to time, but I didn't really. You know, I was a fastball, kind of a loopy slider, changeup guy. I tried towards the end of my career because, you know, as your career is coming near the end, you realize you have to try to do something desperate. I tried to learn how to sink the ball. I never could.
Did you ever try to throw sidearm?
I did in my basement one off season. I had a bucket of balls, and I was slinging it up against the wall.
How'd that work out for your basement?
Not so good. Yeah, that's it. What are you doing down there?
The reason I ask you is Flaherty's added a cutter, and it really started last year a little bit, and he's thrown it a lot more this year. And I always wonder when you add a pitch, right? I think the hitters tell you how good the pitch is, number one. But number two, can it have an effect on your fastball? Can it have an effect on your other breaking balls? Your slider and your curve, which were pretty good pitches in the past. because of the way you're throwing it, maybe the way you're manipulating, you're dropping your arm a little bit more.
Now towards left center field, that'll touch down, and that's going to roll. Madrigal racing into second, and he's got a double.
Trying to Wally Pip Nico here tonight.
Except he's at third base, not at second base. But there's that cutter, right? This cutter backs up, right? And that's my question to you. He splits the gap with it. He's got 2 balls in. He's been able to handle both of them. A high fastball, the first at bat, and then this one. You see him hustling out of the box. He's thinking 3, but it doesn't get to the wall. But can it affect everything else that you do?
I think so, yeah. And I think, his shoulder issue last year maybe was why he decided he needed to try to cut the ball. Maybe he thought he didn't have the jump on his fastball that he once had. I'm talking with some of the Cardinal guys. They said they thought his arm angle, arm slot was maybe a little bit lower. Maybe that's trying to create movement. The year before he had an oblique issue, so he's missed a bunch of time in the last couple of years. What I recall when he first came into the league, he was kind of an old-fashioned power pitcher that could ride the fastball up in the zone, good over-the-top curveball.
Yeah, 2019, he finished 4th in the Cy Young with a 2.75 ERA. And since then, he's thrown 189 innings total. That 19 year where he finished 4th in the Cy Young, he threw 196 in the 3rd. So, yeah, it's
amazing how injuries can derail.
No question.
And it doesn't have to necessarily even be a serious injury. An oblique strain might change the way you finish a little bit and you end up with a bad habit. That's always my concern about when guys have injuries. Do their mechanics change a little bit? If your shoulder's sore a little bit, as a hitter, do you change your mechanics and get, you think about Cody Bellinger, he had the shoulder issue. Did he change just so he could play every day? And it gets you in bad habits. And by the way, he gave up another 2-strike hit.
3 balls, 2 strikes here with Dansby Swanson up here, an RBI double his first time, and now time called.
So we were talking about it yesterday. Should the pitchers be allowed 1 timeout? Why is the hitter allowed a timeout but not the pitcher? Right? You were saying no, let it keep it. You don't seem to have.
It's not what I said.
We need to go to the tape.
What did I say?
I think you like it the way it is.
What's happening that is a problem that is necessitating that?
What, that the hitter steps out, or the
what are you trying to solve?
What I'm trying to solve is there
pitcher
are
angst.
Yes, there are times where a pitcher needs a second to think about what he's doing.
So in this league where they're hitting 248 and hit 243 last year, like the pitchers have angst right now?
Oh, I think they do.
In the air, that's pretty well struck. Right field and back and gone into the basket.
Well, double last time to the right field corner, and again he shoots it the other way, hammers it the other way. As a matter of fact, top 2 in the batting order are 4 for 4 tonight. With 2 doubles, a home run, and a single. We talked in our keys to the game about the need for some slug. The extra base power has not been there here lately, but once on point here tonight. And we got ourselves a ball game.
How about that? 3rd homer of the year. Man, did they need that. All right, so real quick, guys. Last 6 games, the Cubs 1 homer in 234 plate appearances. So it makes it a little challenging at times to score, especially if you're not doing it with runners in scoring position. So, yeah, 2nd home run in the last 217 at bats.
Dansby with the 2nd basket home run, his 1st one of the year, right?
By the way,
I told you there was pitcher angst.
2 strikes.
2 strikes, right? And you know what? In his last 9 games against the Cardinals, the 7 last year and the 2 this year, he has 11 RBIs. Kind of a Cardinal killer.
He's just really impressive. On a bounce to the right side. And Gorman handles the chance.
Hey, let's take another look at that home run. It's brought to you by Toyota, official vehicle of the Chicago Cubs, trying to go in. And we talked about fastball command being an issue.
Strike 3. Christopher gets his cardio in, and it ends up with a steal.
Knizner didn't get the grip of the ball and ended up just dropping it. Remember we were talking about that might be broke? Velcro might have came off from it being hit.
And meanwhile, David Ross out of the dugout checking in on Morel. I think he thought maybe Christopher was hurting after that slide at second base. Adjusting the uni.
Little strawberry there, it looks like, JD. I tell you what, though, what he does have to do is he has to be careful, as you saw. And there was no throw, but how he pops up off that base, Newbar could get it and fire it in. But
chop towards third. Arenado, he's going to third. And he tags Morel, who runs into the out. Heads up play by the 10-time Gold Glover.
Cubs have played a bunch of close games here lately.
Speaking of Northwestern, there he is.
yeah, wow.
Aunt Connie?
That's Aunt Connie on the left. We thought looked like Jose Cardinal. Same hairdo. My mom on the right.
That's a great shot.
It's a great shot.
Shot out of a movie or something.
Yes. Is that picture framed somewhere in your house?
No, that one is not.
Okay. That's a really good
Yeah,
photo.
it's a great.
In the air, left center field, and that one is gone. Paul DeYoung, a homer into the bleachers, and the Cardinals have retaken the lead 5-4. Third of the year for the Cardinals shortstop.
Third home run of the night for St. Louis. Gorman and Newbar, and now DeYoung, who's having a resurgent season. And there's a cutter in the middle of the strike zone again, Joe. You were talking about earlier. That's a hit me pitch.
Young, who's got a ton of power. I mean, 30 home runs one year, and you see the difference in his approach, where that leg kick is gone, and it's really helped him out. And for Assad, you know, I would hate for this kid to lose this game because he's pitched fantastic.
Yeah, he's done.
Cubs got to find a way to come back and win this game.
Drilled to center. Bellinger back some more, near the wall. Can't make the play, and now it's Carlson racing around second. And that'll be a triple. Well, Belly gave it all he had.
Change up again, not where he wanted. Probably wanted it more away and down. Carlson has had a couple homers this month, the only 2 he's had. Hits it a long way, and Bellinger makes a great effort. I mean, the one thing that when you run into this wall, it's not forgiving, and he's probably a half a second away from making that catch.
Yeah, he's been so good out there. You just assume if it stays in the ballpark, he's going to catch it.
Yes.
Hate to take a guy for granted, but that's how good he has been. But that was a real tough chance.
Five-4 game. Tommy Hotovy out there. chatting with Assad.
And this is a situation with Kisner. We got some broken ivy there. Kisner, you got to be careful on this first pitch because he has been hacking all series long.
And last time up, he did not swing at the first pitch, but the first couple of plate appearances he did. And I think the reason why he took it last time was strictly to mess with the scouting report a little bit. He'll be looking to go early here.
Seen 8 pitches and 3 at bats. A little flare, and Suzuki, it gets past him. In to score is Carlson, and racing for second is Kisner. And a man on second, an RBI double. And it's coming undone for the Cubs here in the 9th.
Yeah, it's a little bloop double this time, though. Big strong man like that should be ashamed of himself.
And if the infield's playing back in that situation, it's probably an out. But I mean, he hit it perfect.
A lot of sliders. For a fastball, about 94 miles an hour. His slider better than 55% of the time.
Cubs got the right part of the order up. Dansby's had a great night, a couple doubles, a home run. Haps has 3 walks. Bellinger's been on a number of times.
So it'll be Dansby, Swanson, Ian Happ, Cody Bellinger. Swanson with 3 hits, all for extra bases. Center field, Carlson has a beat on it. Dansby retired on 1 pitch.
Yeah, ready to go though. I mean, aggressive tonight has paid off for him. Just kind of got beat to the spot right there. Didn't quite get the head out on that one.
If you're Ian Happ, you have to find a way to get on in front of Bellinger, right? Or Suzuki. Give the Cubs a chance.
It's one of the things he's been so good at. His on-base percentage currently rests at .429. So he's had a really good idea of the strike zone. Out 2-1.
Just taking a shot at that outside corner, and he's got a 2-run lead, so he'd be a little aggressive here. Doesn't want to walk Happ. He knows how patient he is and willing to accept his walk.
Inside.
Went with the slider, right? He didn't listen to you.
Yeah.
And that's the first slider he's thrown tonight, right? So you think about, you don't necessarily have a feel for it yet.
Happ hits it hard but foul past Mike Napoli.
I'll tell you what I was thinking, right? They ought to give a Gold Glove to
Fabian.
Well, whoever is the best in all of baseball.
Okay.
Right? Pay attention.
Best ball person.
Yeah.
I'm in. 3-2. Popped up left side. Found ground. Arenado by the coach's box. And Happ is out, and the Cubs are down to their final out.
Cardinals looking to win 3 in a row for the first time all year. They dominated the season series over the Cubs last season.
13-6. Yeah. 10 out of the last 12.
You two in stereo.
Yeah, how about that?
They're synchronized.
Pitcher and catcher in sync. Ball to strike to Belly, who's walked twice, grounded into a fielder's choice and grounded out first baseman to pitcher.
Tell you what, you're seeing a lot more fastballs out of Gallegos, and I think it's probably a product of he got beat on his breaking ball the last time he had a save opportunity. And the other thing is he's got a 2-run lead and nobody's gotten on yet.
Out to center, and Carlson is there, and that's the ball game. So the Cardinals win game 2 and finish this one off 6-4 the final. Time now for our toast of the game, and it's brought to you by Vinny's Beverage Depot. If you can't find it at Vinny's, it's probably not worth drinking.
And we talked early in the game about the Cubs needing some slug here, and it was delivered by Dansby Swanson tonight. 3 extra base hits, a couple of doubles, and a home run. A couple to right field, and then a full double to left. So Swanson, who'd been in a bit of a funk, really good here tonight. Hopefully that's the start of a big run for Dansby Swanson. If you can't find it at Vinny's, it's probably not worth drinking.
Well, the Cubs had a bunch of opportunities in this one, just not able to cash them in. And in the end, the Cardinals prevail. For Jim DeShays, Joe Girardi, Taylor McGregor, and our entire crew, I'm John Sciambi. Thanks for watching Chicago Cubs baseball on Marquee Sports Network. Again, your final: Cardinals 6 and the Cubs 4. Tomorrow we wrap up this series, as it'll be Justin Steele and Jordan